So that box will determine my snapping position. And also if I press somewhere here, it will automatically show you that the object's midpoint is somewhere here. So if you, it will be easy if you always on the OSNAP settings. So if I turned off the OSNAP settings by pressing F3, F3 is the shortcut button to toggle that box will determine off for my snap settings. I'm pressing. So that box will determine, then we can broadly classify the tools or the commands into three parts. One is the draw tools, and then the modifying tools, and the annotation tools. So draw tools are basically the line, the circles, and the polylines and all. So I'll be just going through the very basic commands. Box will determine, then so first the line broadly classify the tools or the commands into three parts. L enter whatever you one is the draw tools, and then the modifying tools, and the always look at the command line bar. So you can see that draw tools are first point, basically the line. So one the line, the circles, and so the polylines. This will determine where my just going through the very basic the box will determine, then and you can also see a number changing. So that will actually tell the length of my line. So if I want my line to be around 50 meters, so since I have already set the units to 50 meters, so I'm just typing 50. It will automatically draw a line with 50 meters, and then this will be a line. So after drawing a line, there is a option called ortho, in which the lines will only travel at 90 degrees. So since my ortho is known, just see how my lines are moving. I'm just moving it randomly, but it's only snapping at 90 degrees. You can see it very clearly. It just moves only on 90 degrees. So the shortcut key for toggling off or on for ortho is F8. So when I press F8, the ortho is off, and immediately the line is traveling on all the degrees of a circle. You can see it. It can move freely without any restrictions. But when I press F8 again, it will just snap to the 90 degrees, 180, 270, 360 degrees. So this is ortho, snapping, and line. So next we can go to, let me draw just a shape with just lines. So I'm pressing L, enter, specify first point. I'm drawing the first point, and I'm drawing let's say a square of 10 meters on each side. So I'm typing 10 and again enter or space, whatever you can use it. And the line, this particular line is 10 meters. So again, since my ortho is on, my lines will just move in 90 degrees. So again at 10 meters. So I would really advise that if you have the possibility to do it side by side, it will be very efficient and you can understand it easily when I'm doing by side. So again 10, again enter, and you can also guide the line in which you want to direct the line to just by using the cursor. You can move however you want just by moving the cursor in a specific direction. So this is a square of 10 meters each side. So this is a simple shape. And next is the polyline. So the command for polyline is P and L. You can see here P line. So this is called as the polyline. So it's also a not exactly the same. It's also a similar kind of command in which it will also draw a line. And I'm also drawing the same 10 meter square again. This is a 10 meter square. And coming back to the selection, in which how you can select a particular object, you can always use a left mouse button, and there will be a highlighted green area in which you can select it. And also you can select it from left to right. So now here I am selecting from right to left and left to right. So the difference between the selection is that when you select from left to right, you should always completely cover the object, and because then only the entire object will get selected. But that's not in the case of when you're selecting from right to left. Even if you just touch the object, the entire object will be get selected when you're moving from right to left selection. So similarly, I'm doing from left to right selection. See, I'm just touching the object. You cannot see that the entire object is selected. But when I completely cover the object gets selected. So that is the difference between selecting from left to right and right to left. So again, moving back to the polyline command and the difference between line command is that. So it almost draws a line, and again I'm drawing the same 10-meter square. So the difference between the polyline and the line tool is that the polyline, it draws continuously without leaving any point. So even if I just select this, the entire object gets selected. But when I draw with the line command, only a single line gets selected. So that is the difference between drawing with polyline and drawing with a simple line. So when I draw with the line, all these objects are just single individual lines. You have to select every single one of them. But whereas when you draw with the polyline, you will be able to select as a whole object. So that is the difference between polyline and line. Okay, and then line and polyline. Next comes the arc. So if you click the arc, there will be different types of arc. Types of arc in the sense how you want to draw arc. And the most easiest ways to understand AutoCAD is that whenever you use a command, you can just hover over the option, and it will itself give you an illustration on how the particular tool or particular command works. So you can just, even if you're not able to understand or just forgot in case, you can just hover around the command and you can just draw it. So first I'm drawing a start, center, end arc. So whenever, also to note, whenever if you are working with curves, it is better to turn off the ortho so that the curves will be very smooth. So when you turn on orthos, it will just snap. They will just keep on snapping at 90 degrees. So I'm just turning off the ortho, and you can see the line. So this will be my starting point of the arc, and this will be my center point. So this is an arc. You can draw like this. So just imagine if I on the ortho, and again the same arc. It is just snapping on 90 degrees. So that will be the kind of restriction in which you cannot work in a smooth process when you are doing it with curves. So it will be restricted, only moving in 90 degrees. So it's better to turn off the auto. So there is another type of arc, the start, center, angle, because arcs are just classified based on how the positioning and how do you want to draw that particular arc. So in this arc, this type of arc, you use the start point, the center point, and the end point. And at this point, you use the start point, center point, and a particular angle in which you want the arc to move. And this third type of arc is start, center, and length, in which the arc is governed by three parameters: start, center point of the arc, and the length of the arc. Let me draw with angle. See, I'm keeping like this, and the particular arc just moves in the particular angle. Then with the length, so I'm just specifying the start point of the arc and the center point and the length of the curve. So this kind of, you can see there's a difference between all the three arcs in which how they are drawn. So this particular type of arc is drawn just by using starting point, the center point, and the length of the arc. So you can see here, if I give around 19 meters, it will be an arc like this. And if I use the first type of arc, it will form like something like this. So this is the basic for the arcs. And then for the circle, to draw a circle. So the shortcut command for circle is the C, and you can see here, type C, enter. and it will itself ask for every command you use. It will itself guide you through the whole process. So here it is asking for the specify center point of the circle. So I'm just specifying the center point be somewhere here, and it's asking me for the radius. So since I am not typing any radius, it will just randomly draw a circle with a random radius. So I'm just, as I move, the radius keeps on increasing. And if I want a particular amount of radius, let's say 5 meters, pi and enter, and this circle is around 5 meter radius. So this is a very common way to draw a circle. So if there's any doubt, please stop me and just ask it. You have complete freedom to stop me and ask. And please tell me if I'm going whether too much fast or too slow. So circle, and then there are also many immense commands found in this AutoCAD software. So the basic in which so there are specific commands in which if you just learn them, you can easily that will be sufficient for you, in which you can draw all the plans and sections and all. So next will be the circle and then rectangle. So the shortcut key for rectangle is REC. You can see a rectangle, and as similarly said, it will also ask the specify first corner point. So the first corner point will be here, and it is asking for the other corner point. Just hover and you can see a rectangle forming, rectangle or whatever you want. And this is how a rectangle is formed. So these are all very basic and common, in which how the shapes and the lines are drawn in AutoCAD. And if you want a specific dimension rectangle, you can just place it here, and you can just type. You can see here there is a number 3.87 and 4.35 as I move. So that defines the length and breadth of the particular rectangle. So the length here is around 2.58, and if I want to just give a value of around 15, so this will be my rectangle. Then we have seen line, polyline, circle, arcs, and rectangles. And next we can come to the polygons. So the shortcut key to draw a polygon is the TOL. You can see here polygon. And after immediately I type polygon, and it will ask me. So we all know what a polygon is. It's just a closed shape. So here you can just draw only based on the sides of the polygon. So if I type 4 and I press enter, and you will get a square like this. So depending upon the number of sides, you can just draw a polygon. So it is 4. Now I'm going to draw a 6 hexagon. And also it will also ask how the particular polygon should be, whether it should be inscribed in the circle or circumscribed about the circle. So whether the circle should be inside or the circle should be outside. It will itself calculate in the imaginary manner. So I'm just doing it inscribed in circle, and since it's a polygon and or the hexagon, so it will ask for the radius. It will mostly draw an equilateral hexagon or equilateral heptagon or whatsoever. So let me draw a 5. So you can see here that this is a 5 meter regular hexagon, equilateral regular hexagon, and you can just keep on drawing over how many ever sides you want. So it's 6, and then I can go with decagon. This is a 10-sided polygon, and you can keep on drawing how many ever you want. The more you use, the more your RAM gets strained out. So it's always advised to keep everything in a minimal point of view. So this is we have seen line, polyline, rectangle, polygon, arc, circle, and next when you come to the drawing of the curved lines, so there is a command called spline. You can type SPL. And since my ortho is off, because I am drawing a curved line, you can see here, this is my first point and the next point. You can see the line is not moving in a 90 degrees or a straight line. It's just a curved line. You can manipulate it however you want. So if you want any curved lines, you can go with spline. You can keep on drawing and just keep on doing whatever you want. And I will also, since the auto is off, there is no any restrictions for the line to move in 90 degrees or whatsoever. And now if I am oning the auto, see, you can see all my cursor is just snapping in 90 degrees, and it will be very difficult if the auto is on to draw a curve line. There is no free flow or something due to the presence of the ortho command. So again, I'll tell the shortcuts. So F3 for snapping, F8 for ortho, F9 for the grid snapping and all. So if the grid is also disturbing you, you can just press F7. The grid will turn off. So these are all the basic, very basic line drawing tools you'll be using. And if you want to explore, there are many things present in the software. If you want to explore even more, you can also click here. And here is a helix or 3D screen. Let's go to 3D. Let's not talk about it. So these are the basic drawing tools. I will just give a short recap about the drawing tools. So if you want to draw a line, you press L and press enter or space. You'll ask for the first point. You can draw how the length, depending upon the length, how many ever lines you want. This will be for line. And whenever you draw a line, there will be always a number above it that will denote the measurement of the particular line. So that is for line. And next for the polyline. So the difference between line and polyline is that it will just create one continuous line, and the command line will just create individual lines. So this is a continuous line and this is an individual line. So there is a difference between line and polyline. And for rectangle, you press REC, and immediately you get a rectangle. And for circle, you press C, space or enter. You click the center point of the circle and type the radius, how many ever you want, and you get the circle. And next for the arc, you can either if you want the workspace to be even more larger, you can use this panel button to minimize everything. So there will not be these kind of bars. Let me show you. So if you want the workspace to be as maximized as possible, you can do this. But if you want to quickly, you can access the tools, you can press again. Again, these quick access toolbar will be appearing. And next, arc, you can press A and enter, you get the arc. Next, spline again. You just keep on drawing however you want. So that is for spline and the basic drawing tools. And next, moving on to the modified tools, as I said earlier. So there are certain tools in which you can modify the existing object. So let me draw a line again. I'm drawing a line. So if I want to move this particular line, so all I have to do is just press M, and immediately you will see move. So it will automatically highlight the first command. So if you press M and enter, it will ask for select the objects. So I'm selecting this object, and again I'm pressing enter or space to confirm that is the object. And it will ask me for a base point. A base point is that in which base point for the object is that I can move the object with respect to that point. So this will be my base point. I'm using this point to move the object, and it is asking me for a specified second point. So I'm moving wherever I want. Since my ortho is on, it is only moving in 90 degrees. Let me off my ortho, and you can move wherever you want. So the movement takes place only on where the base point where you click happens. So I have chosen my base point to be the end point of the line, and with respect to that, only the particular object moves. So let me move to the base point like this, and my base point will be here. So with respect to this particular point, the total object moves. So that is move. And if you want, similarly, if you want the object to move in 90 degrees, you can press F8 auto, and you can make the object move in 90 degrees alone. If you want the object to move on whatever direction you want, just press select the object, M space, move however you want. So there is also a possibility in which you don't have to select the object and press M, or you can also type the command and then select the object. So there are alternate ways also. So that's about the move command. And next is the copy command. So just see, and you can see copy. And again, it will ask for the objects, so this will be my object. And I'm just confirming that this is my object by pressing enter or space again. And it will again ask to specify base point. So I'm copying to be this as my base point. Since my ortho is on, the object will just be copied on 90 degrees. So you can just create n number of objects, how many ever you want, on whatever direction you want. I'm just turning off the auto. You can just keep on copying how many ever you want, and just keep on copying. And similarly of the same base point, you can determine wherever you want the base point to be. So again, if you click here and you can move, the particular object will just move or copy just based on the base point in which you are first telling it to move. So all these lines will be just moving on with reference to this point as a base point, and it will just be copied. And there is also, if there is a situation in which you have two multiple drawings, so I'm just opening another tab. If you want to move a particular object from this drawing to this drawing, it's very easy. You can just select the object, right click on it, and you can see here clipboard, and you can copy it. So this particular object will be copied to the system memory, and when you click here, and the typical shortcut key for pasting is Control V. You can paste it. So the line is already pasted here. So you can see here the line is here, and you can either do by by the use of clipboard, or you can just simply select all, Control C, or the shortcut key for copying, Control C, click the next drawing, Control V. So this is for copying from one tab to another tab, or two different drawings. So this will be for copying. And next, we can go for the rotate option. So the shortcut or the command for rotate is RO. You can see a rotate. You can click it. It will again ask for the select objects. I'm selecting the object. To confirm it, I'm pressing again enter or space. So here it will again ask the base point in which on which point the whole object should rotate. So I'm just pressing again the same object, and it is 90 degrees. So due to the presence of ortho, it will just snap only on 90 degrees. I'm just turning off the ortho, and you can see it. With this point as my point of rotation, the total object will get rotated. So depending upon the base point location, the particular object will get rotated. So let me change the base point and placing it somewhere in the midpoint. So you can see here the object will just move with the midpoint as an axis of rotation. You can see it will just move, taking the reference point as a midpoint as the axis of rotation. You can move however you want, depending upon the base point, the particular object moves. So the base point for me here is here. So depending on that, it will move. You can move how many ever objects you want. Again, rotate and selecting all the objects, it moves. If you want to rotate them only 90 degrees, you have to simply just press F8, and they will just snap at 90 degrees. So this is for rotation. So we have seen copy, move, rotate. Next, let me draw a simple square. So you can see here that this line, these two lines are almost extending, or they are kind of extra to me. So if I want to delete the particular line, this part of the line, all I have to do is that you have there's a command called trim. You can just press R, and you can see here trim. Let's enter, and it will ask for select objects. For quick trimming, you have to select trim, and again you have to press the space bar. So you can see here, that is, you have to press the space bar twice. So TR, enter, space or enter, again space or enter. And then if you place over this line, you can see that it is automatically deleting itself. So this line will be deleted. Again, for same, if I want to delete this particular line, the same option, trim, press enter or space twice, and then you can delete it. So this will be a short key for deleting two lines. So if you want, you cannot. You can also do this. This is kind of elaborate process in which you have to select these two lines, and then you have to cut these two lines. So that is kind of a long process. So you have to. So this is a quick trimming action. So in which you press a trim command twice, and use the space bar twice, and you can just trim it. So you can only trim if the line is exceeding beyond the midpoint or the end point. So you cannot trim these lines because all these lines are perfectly matched, and it is one complete joined line. So you can only delete or trim a line when the particular line is extending from it. So let me. So you can see here this line is extending on both sides. So if you want to delete this, again trim. You have to press the space or enter twice. Delete this. That's it. And similarly, delete this. Also, you cannot delete a single individual line as you do in as the trim works for. The way in which trim works is that it just deletes or removes the excess lines alone. And the particular the most used modifier is that erase. You can use it, erase. You can just select this option and you can delete it. That's all. Or you can also use your keyboard button delete also. It will also, you just select and press delete also, it will get deleted. Instead of typing the command, you can just click it and delete it. So that will be for erase, delete, and copy, move, rotate, trim, and all. And next, if I want to mirror the particular object, so I'm selecting the whole object and I'm typing mi mirror, and it will be asking me the specify mirror first point of mirror line. So similarly for rotation, it will be asking for a specific axis to rotate through. So I'm also rotating, I'm also mirroring now with a specific line. So this will be my mirror line, just an imaginary line. I'm just holding here, and this will be my mirror line. So this, you can see a yellow dashed line, that is a mirror line, an imaginary line. So with respect to that only, the particular object gets mirrored. So I'm just it will be asking for me the specify second point of mirror line. So this will be my second point, and it will always ask erase source object. So it's up to you whether you want to delete the source or the highlighted object, or so I'm just keeping it as no, and this will be an alternative for copying or mirroring something. So since this particular object is of almost symmetrical, it looks like this. So let me draw a random object. We can see here, I'm mirroring it again, mi space. So my mirror line will be something like very random. So this will be my random line. So you can see here it's kind of extending. You can also use the trim command again here. You have to press space twice, and this will be my random object. So if I want to mirror this particular object, similarly I have to press mi, select the whole object. Always use so it's up to you whether you want to select the whole object to be mirror, or the particular this line I want to be mirror. So since I want the whole object to be mirror, I'm selecting the whole object, and it will again ask for me the confirmation of the object, and I'm pressing enter or space again. It will ask me for the first point of mirror line. So this will be my mirror line, and you can see here the mirror line is like this, somewhere like this. You can also use the ortho command here also by pressing F8. It will particularly snap at 90 degrees. If you turn off the ortho, it will be something like this. You can mirror however you want. So I'm just turning off. So it is the exact reflection of the other object. So this is what the mirror command is. And there are many modify tools in which you can be using. And next is the fillet command. So what does fillet actually does is that we draw a line here. So this is something incomplete. So what fillet does is that it will just join these this endpoint and this point. So let me type F, and automatically the first command is the fillet, F and enter, and it will ask me for the select first object. So I'm selecting this line, and it will be asking for the select second object. I'm pressing this line, and it will automatically join it. So that is the purpose of fillet. It will join whatever objects together, and there is also a modification done in the fillet object itself. You can also use like press F again, fillet, and you can see here fillet select first object, undo polyline radius. There's something called the radius. So here the radius is set to be 0. So when I press radius, and it will ask me for a particular radius in which the object will be fillet. So let me type like 5 and space, and the fillet radius for this command I'm going to be used is 5 meters. So similarly, I'm using the first object and the second object. You can see here there is a minute curve here. So this will be the fillet radius. The ultimate purpose for the fillet command is just to join two lines. But if you want the radius to be used, you can use as 5 meters. And if you don't want, you want to join it at 90 degrees, you can just use the fillet radius to be 0. So depending upon what kind of radius you wish for, you can use it. So I'll just do this again alone. You can see here the radius is 0. I'm joining it again. It forms at 90. It joins at 90 degrees. So if I, instead of going and clicking here radius, you can also type R, because you can see the blue color letter is highlighted. So if you want to use a particular, there are commands within the command. So that's called, so if you want to use the radius, you can press R and enter. It will itself ask for the fillet radius. So I'm pressing again some 10 and enter or space. Similarly, I'm doing this. You can see here the curve is even more increased. So that's what fillet does. So that is the fillet command. And next is the join command. So what does join does is, just in case if you have forgotten to use the polyline command, and you have just drawn lines just by using the line command, in which every single line is individual. So you can see here every single line is individual. So if you want all these individual lines to be grouped as a single line, all you have to do is just select all these lines, or you can also manually select individual lines like this also. So it's up to the matter of in which way you are selecting, and all these lines are now selected. All you have to do is just press J, and there will be the join command, and press enter again. So this particular object is now a single object. You can see here there are no individual lines. There is a one single total object. So that's what join does. And depending upon the usage, you can also use polyline or line. So polyline also does the same thing. So you can see here a single whole object, and here is also a single whole object. So just in case if all your lines are individual, you can join it by using the join command. select all the lines or the objects you want, press J and enter, and you will automatically the object will be get joined. So that's what join does. And also if you want to do the vice versa, so if my object is, again I'm using polyline, my object, sorry, if my object is as a whole object, a single entity, and I want to break it into individual objects, I'll select the object and press explode, EX. You can see here explode. And all these lines will again go back to single individual lines. You can also move. They'll just become single individual lines again. So that's what join and explode will do. And if you want to reverse something, you can use the Control Z, the typical undo button, Control Z. It will just reverse all the process you have done. And if you want to look what and all you have done previously, you can just go to the command line bar and command history. You can just press this, and these are all the commands I have done. If you scroll down, you can just see it. And also to move across the workspace, you can use the pan tool by just typing PA and pan. Will automatically get this hand tool, and you can just press your left click and you can move across. The scroll button will be the zoom in, zoom out, and you just move across the workspace. So that will be too much of work typing every time when you type pan, and then you have to move the total workspace. Just press the middle mouse button. You can just easily pan across the workspace. In case if your middle mouse button is not working, you can just use the pan tool. And then the pan, I have so I will also tell again about the join and explode once again. Rectangle, the whole single entity object, and if I want to explode it, I just click the object, press X, explode. It will separate it into single individual lines. So that is explode. And next will come the extend line, extend command. So what does this extend does is that extend is almost similar to fillet. So fillet just joins the 90 degrees line. So, but the advantages of this and disadvantages of fillet is that if I want to join this and this object at particular line, so I just use fillet. You can see here there is an this extra line is automatically deleted by fillet. So that's what fillet will do. So if I click this object and I place this, you can see that this extended line will automatically be deleted. So this is what fillet does. But what does extend do is that again you have to type EXT, and you can see here extend. And last part, select object. So every time when you use extend, you have to select the object in which you consider to be the end point or the end line or the boundary kind of line. So I'm considering this particular object as boundary line. So because my line has to, this particular line has to join with this. So this will be my boundary line. So I'm selecting this, and I'm confirming that it is my boundary object by pressing space. And if I just hover over the line, it will automatically join it. And if you press left click again, you are confirming it. And just that's all. So this is the difference between fillet and extend. So extend is that it will not do any changes to the existing line. It will just join the line which is left out. But fillet will just remove this particular line. So that's what fillet does. So I'll just show it again. Typing fillet. So you can see there is no line here. But if you do extend the boundary, this will be acting as my boundary object, and selecting this. Enter, and I want this particular line to join to this line. So I'm joining it, and I'm pressing enter or escape, whatever you want to come out of from the particular command. So it will be joined. So this is what extend does. And next is the align command. So what is it? So I'm drawing a rectangle. Just rotating it. You can see here that this is slightly misaligned. So if I want this particular object to be in a straight or an aligned position with a specific object, I'm just using the line command to draw a 90-degree line. So this will be my reference line. So in order to align this object to this particular line, I will have to do this align AL, the shortcut key, align, and after going into the command, it will ask for the objects to be aligned for. So I'm selecting this object, and to confirm it, pressing space again. It will ask for the source point. Source in the sense in which object or the point which you want to align. So I want this point to get aligned to this particular point, and this point to align here, so that my object will become straight. So there are 2 points, and I have selected first point and second point, first point and second point. And now I have given a set of instructions that this object should align itself to this particular line. So I have done this, and I am pressing enter, and it will ask for scale objects based on alignment points. So I'll just move on. I'll say this later, and this I'm telling no. So you can see here the particular object just aligned itself to the straight line according to this. So since my line, this line is straight, it is automatically aligning itself to it. So just say I am drawing another diagonal line, something like this, and I want this object again to align with this object. So similarly, I am typing align, selecting this object, and depending upon where you want to align the particular object, you can hold any point you want to do. Similarly, the second point. No, you can see here the particular object is aligned based on the reference point which I have given you. So this is what align does. You can just align the particular object with reference to another object or an imaginary file format. So next is the offset command. So offset is that let's say I have to draw. So typically when we draw a plan, we will always give a double line plan. So what will we all do is that we will draw a rectangle, and then we to give the wall thickness, we will do like this, like around 0.2 each. L. So this will be my wall. So just assuming this to be this as my wall, and just drawing the typical. So I have just drawn a room or something which has a double wall. So these are some extended edges or extra lines. So I can just delete this by using trim. Yeah.
Kevin, screen share ಆಗಲಕ್ಕೆ.
Share ಆಗಲ್ಲ.
ಆಯ್ತು.
So you can see here that I have drawn a kind of room. So you can see here that there are extra lines in which I don't want these lines. So all I have to do is just PR trim, and I can just delete this. So this will be acting as a room. So and this will be as a acting as a wall. So in order to do like to get a drawing like this, I will have to do type enter, and I have to draw a 0.23 measurement line every time when I do this. So there is another shortcut method to just draw the same drawing. So just copying this. Just copying this, and that command is called as an offset. So let's go, and we can see offset, and you can see the specific offset distance. And you also have to ensure that in order to use offset, the particular whole object is a single lined object, so that the entire object itself will get offset. So just try it, and it is asking me for specific offset distance. So the wall thickness will be around 230 mm. So I'm giving 0.2, and it will ask me for the object. So this is the object I want to offset, and I can clicking it, and you can either move it inwards or outwards. There's only two options in offset. You can move it inwards or outwards. So you can see here the time consumed by doing this and by the time consumed by doing this. So this will be kind of easy method which you can easily offset any kind of line. So since my total object is like a whole entity, this happens. So what happens if I draw just a single line? Drawing a single line and offset again 0.23. So this happens when I offset. It is similar to copying. So it will retain the line also, and it will add another line towards it. So that's what offset does. And if you want to move freely the offset distance, you can press O, and there is always the distance is set to 0.23. If you want to move through any n number of distance, you have to press T. So you can see here throw arrow. So you can press this, and you can move it how many ever you want. You can move to n kind of distance. So that's what offset does. And the advantage of offset is that you can do it n number of times. So I'm offsetting this. You can do it. You can just keep on doing it. And similarly here also, you can just keep on doing it. 1, 2, 3. Just keep on doing it. And I'm just changing the distance, offset distance. So just keep on doing it, and similarly the particular object will also change itself the size also. So that's what offset does. So so the modify tools are copy. The basic modify tools are copy, move, rotate, trim, mirror, scale. Sorry, scale. I have scale. So let's talk about scale. Just drawing a small rectangle. So I want to scale without not the dimensions should be proportionate. So that's what scale is actually is. It will just change the shape. Either it will increase or decrease, but with proportionately it does that particular work. So just trying scale. It will ask the same objects. I'm confirming it. And similarly, it will ask for a base point with respect to which I have to scale the particular object. So I'm from the center, I'm scaling it. You can see here the object will enlarge or diminish based on the proportions in which the particular object was first created. So let's assume that this has 1 meter and this has 1 meter, and it will always move to 2 meters. The length will be 2 and the breadth also will be 2. So let's say if I draw something like this, again I'm scaling it. So assuming the length to be around 4 meters and the breadth to be around 0.5 meters, it will move according, it will enlarge according to the proportionate it happens. So the scale will be, so I'm confirming it to it, and this. So you can see here, depending upon how much the distance if I move, the scale, the object gets scaled. And you can also, if if you don't know how much, so you just want the twice or thrice of a particular object, all you have to do just scale, and you have to specify it. And if I want the object to scale it's twice the times, you have to press 2 or 3. If you have to press 2. So if you press 2, the object will scale itself twice. It will get enlarged. So if you want to diminish this particular object, all you have to do is that scale, press whatever point you want, and simply you just have to type the number or the factor in which you want the object to be scaled. So previously I gave 2, now I'm giving around 0.1 to lower the size. So you can see here the size is lower. The same, this is what scale does. And not only depending upon the base point, it will also get scaled. So see here, it will just scale like this. So whatever command you do, it will based on the base point you have selected or chosen will determine the shape or the particular object. So you can see here the difference between my location of base points and the scaling of the particular object. It scales like this and it scales like this because I'm fixing a particular point. With respect to that point, the object completely scales up or scales down. So that's what scale does. So we have looked at copy, move, rotate, trim, mirror, scale, fillet, join, etc. So I'll just quickly do all these commands and all. So I'm just selecting the object. I'm copying. So it copies. To move the object, I'm pressing M and enter. And again it moves, moving the particular object. To rotate the object, I'm selecting the object again. RO for rotate. I'm selecting any base point which on with the axis for rotation. So since my ortho is on, it's snapping at 90 degrees. I'm turning it off. So it acts like this. And next for the trim option. So for trim, let's assume this to be an imaginary object, and to trim PR space, again space. You can just trim all over how many times ever you want. So this is what trim does. And mirror is that it will just mirror the particular object. And just in case if you don't want source object also, you can just delete it, like specify mirror point line and erase source object. If you give yes, the particular object will be erased. So that's what mirror does. And fillet is something, fillet and extend are almost similar, but they work in different ways. So what fillet does is that F space or enter, I'm selecting the first object, selecting the second object. This line, this particular line is deleted for me. And what does extend do is that it will, for extend, it will ask for the boundary object. So this will be my boundary object, and I am confirming it, and this line to be joined. So this will be the difference between extend and so just if you don't want to select the boundary object also, there is similarly for trim, in which you can press extend, press space twice again. Simply just the line will find the boundary line itself. So that's what extend is. In which, like trim, you have to press space twice to delete this, and for extend also the same. EX, enter, again enter. It will just automatically join it. So that's what the draw tools and the modify tools are. And next we can go to the measuring part. And so usually if you want to know the dimension of this particular line you have drawn, there is always this option called the measure. So this quick measure is that I think it's not available in my earlier versions of AutoCAD. So this just quickly tells you dimensions and all. So you can see here that this particular line is 1.3 meters and 1. This is sometimes very confusing. So you can just go to measure, and there's a drop down menu here. Click it, and you can place a distance. And similarly, it will ask for the first point. So I want the dimension of this particular point. So first point, and it is asking me for the second point. and I'm clicking the second point, and the distance, it will still say that it is 1.56 meters and all. So that's what the measurement does. And again, for this, I can do this. So the measurement of this particular line is 1.33. If you don't find this yellow color ruler icon, you can just type measure geo. You just type MES measure geo. This is a command, and if you click it, automatically the dimensions will be shown. So since it is 2020 version of CAD, it is directly showing the quick option method. So if you want to know the distance, you can see here at the bottom. You can see here the distance. You can see here. So you can click this, and again it will ask specify first point, second point. So that's how you measure a line. And if you want to know the radius of a particular object or a circle, I don't know the radius of this particular circle, and I'm using this measure, and it is asking for select an arc or circle. So I'm using this, and it will automatically show the radius of the circle. So 0.74 is the radius of the circle. So if I'm drawing an arc, say, I don't know the radius of this particular arc. So if I want to know the radius of this arc, again I have to go to click radius, and it will say that the radius is 0.56. So that's how we measure the radius of an arc or circle. Next is the angle between two lines. So you can see here that this is very obvious that this is 90 degrees. So you can see here, and I'm clicking the angle measurement angle, and it is asking for select arc, circle, line, or whatever you want. So I'm just clicking this line and this line. So the angle between here is 90 degrees. So let's say so in order to measure or know the angle of this, but the angle between these two lines, again I'm doing the same. I'm selecting both the lines, and it is showing me 160 degrees. So that's how we measure angle between two lines. Two lines or two objects, whatever maybe you can draw, you can easily get the angle within them. We draw some random objects also too. So I want the angle between this particular two lines. Again, I'm doing the same, pressing it, and the angle is 111 degrees. So angle between this line and this line is 111 degrees. Similarly for all the 130 degrees. So this is how you measure the particular angle between two lines. And next is the area. So this is also a typical one. So if you want to know to calculate the area of this particular circle, you go here, area, and there is a restriction when you want to calculate the area. So it will just add, it will just ask for which object you want to calculate the area, or by using the points you can calculate the area. So I'm just using this point. It will be keep on asking until your object is completely done. So it will be asking for first, this is my first point, next point. It will automatically get highlighted. So showing that this is the area, the system is going to get calculated. This. So once you are done, so it will highlight the green area. The green area is a highlighted one, and it is saying that I'm going to calculate the area for this particular shaded area. So once you are done with it, by selecting just space, and you will get the area 0.15 meters, 15 square meters. So sometimes you might have forgotten how much area is it. So since you have already measured, you can just go back to the command history, and you can see here it has said that area is equal to 0.15 meters square. So this will be the calculation of area of a particular object. And you should also not be confused that which object was my recently selected object. It will always show the recently selected objects at the first, and the further recently selected objects across. So since this is an object, so I can easily measure the area. Like it's again asking me for specifying the corner of the object. So for curved objects, it is better to select the entire object itself, because when you are using the measure command or area measure command, it will always use the 90 degrees or the orthogonal measurements. So it is better to use the object for curved objects. You use the curved object and it's asking for select objects. This is my object and I'm selecting it and it's showing the area as 1.74 meters square. So that's how we measure for circle or curved objects. And if you are if you are patient enough, you can even manually click every point of a particular circle and you can know the area of the particular circle or a curved object, whatsoever. So that's how you measure distance, radius, angle, and area and all. So volume will be looking at 3D. So these are the basic measurement tools. So next, to add text in a particular drawing, or let me import just drawing a rectangle here, and I just want the dimensions to be visible here. So all I have to do is press dimension. Fine. So this is the shortcut key for dimension, and it will ask for select objects or first extension line and all sort of things. So if you want to know the dimension to be, if you want the dimensions to be displayed of in the drawing itself, you have to select this line or wherever which line you want to be, which line's measurement you want to be displayed. So I want this particular line's measurement to be displayed. Selecting this and this, and I'm pressing enter again. So you can see here that it's very huge. So in order to reduce the line, you can also, so the dimension is very huge and it is kind of inappropriate. So if you want to modify it, box will open. You include text and numbers and the size of the numbers. So if you want, you can even modify in the same standards, or if you want, you can also create a new one. So that would be a problem. So next, another dialog box will open. So it will ask for the dimension lines color. So I'm the extension line in which you want. So I'm drawing it red. You can see here there's a minute change in the colors. So the line will be in red color. If you want in yellow, you can, whatever color you want it to be, you can use it. And the line type is always continuous as well. And this is the baseline spacing. Baseline spacing is that you can, there will be a certain amount of gap in which from the drawing to the dimension line. So that spacing is determined the baseline spacing. So let me give around 2 and the symbols and arrows. So you can see here there is an arrow. So if you want, there are numerous amount of headers you can use it. So we usually prefer architectural tick, and for second, here also architectural tick. So the arrow sizes was, you can also see it was very huge, no? So you can just reduce it by keeping it 0.5. Or even 0.75. And then you can also see that there are many tabs within the dialog box. So depending upon the text, you can also adjust the size and control the text color also. You can see the diamonds are in red now, it's in white. So depends. It's your wish. In whatever color you want, you can use it. So the text size was very huge also previously, and I'm reducing it to 1. The text size is also reduced. And fit is that if there is no enough place to uh, fit both the arrows within the dimensions, you can also use best fit is that you can always click this option, so it will automatically align itself, and the dimension will be perfect when you use the dimension command. So these are primary units and alternate units. So if you want to display more units other than meters, you can also use this alternate units, in which uh, if a line is 1 meter and it will display 1 meter, and if you want to display alternate units in feet and inches also, you can also use this display alternate units. You can check this box, uh, and which kind you want architectural stack, and the previously told how you how you select the units box, the same exact procedure also you can do it here to display the alternate units. And the primary units is that decimal, so precision is the same, and you can see the decimal separate is comma. You can change as here. So here is that it's a dot, simple dot, and you can click OK. And dimension is the new style I have created. I'm clicking it, and I'm clicking it set current, and I'm closing it. So again, I'm doing the dimension, pressing the lines. You can see here that it is displaying the meters length also. Let me check for it. You can see it is 5.85 meters, 5.85 meters. So since I have given the precision as around one fourth of an inch, so it is showing me the precision as 1 by fourth of an inch. So that's how you can modify the style also. So if you want this particular size to be reduced, you can also go to trim style again, and since it is even more larger, you can also reduce it by going to the text height is 1, you can reduce it to 0.5 or 0.2 will be more than enough. And arrow size is also kind of huge, reducing it to 0.3. Then clicking it and setting it to current. You can see here the size is also reduced, and it is directly above. So this is looking kind of neat and good. So again, if you want to do it, and there is also an option in which how much distance you want the dimension to be. If you want it to be here, you can drag it how many ever you want. So that's what this dimension does. And so this is how you put a dimension in a particular drawing. Then let's go to the even more if you want to add a text within the particular object or so if I want to add a text within the drawing itself, all I have to do is just click this text, and it will open a reference point like this. Or you can also use the command in text. It's also a multi-line text. You can keep on typing how much ever you want. So it will ask for a corner. It will be as we all use in PowerPoint or spreadsheet or sorry Word and all. It's just a text box. So it will create a box, and you can see if I type something, the size will be very huge. So automatically when you start typing something, this edit toolbar will automatically open. So since the size is very huge, I'm just reducing it to something like 0.7. So now if I type, Still this kind of looking huge. Just reducing it. 0.2. It's fair enough. And you can also change the font, whatever font you want. You can buy this. There are numerous fonts, and you can use whatever font you want. I'm using choice here. I'm just using this font. If you want it to be bold, again you have to select it. And these are further additional font styles conversion: bold, italic, underline, and all. And then, so that's how you draw. I mean, put a text in a particular drawing. And then, if you want to add even more lines, just press enter, shift enter, and you can automatically go to the next line, and you can draw by changing telling the dimension of a particular row. So this is how you add a text in a particular drawing, and then comes the layers. So you're drawing numerous lines and numerous components and all. So let's say I'm just opening another. So you can see here there are immense furnitures and walls and all the center lines and all. So if you want everything to be set in a separate layer, you can use that. So that's going back to the drawing. So I have already, if you want to move to, this will be the layer tab. So if you want to create new layers, you go here, simply just type layer. So immediately this dialog box will open. So this is a layer properties tab. So what it does is that there is a default 0 layer and the def points layer. Def points layer, it will be automatically created no matter what you do. So if you want to create a new layer, you can see the first option here. I think it's very small. So if you, yes, it will create a new layer with the shortcut key is Alt%. And if you press it, automatically there's a new layer created. So let's name it as wall. Enter. So this layer will be acting as a wall. Next, Windows. Another new layer as doors. So now I have created 3 layers. So these are the layers in which I am going to be working on. So if I select this particular layer and there is a small tick mark which denotes that this layer is currently active. So if I want to change the particular layer color, so you can use any color you want. So I'm just keeping it red and okay. So whatever line or curve or object you draw with this particular layer on, it will just display as red color. And then coming back to Windows, I'm just keeping it like this. And just in case if you want to rename it, the shortcut option is F12. So you can rename the layer, and there's door. So I have assigned colors to the layers and names to the layers, and next comes the line type. Line type is that what kind of line I want to draw with the particular layer. So there are numerous line types. So there is continuous lines, dash line, hidden lines, and all. So I'll be just moving on to the next. And next is the line weight. Line weight is that whenever you do a drawing, it is always expected that the line weights to be properly visible. So you can also do this in this software itself. So now, for now, I have set the colors of the layers and the names of the layers. So now, defaultly, there is a wall. Let me delete all these. I'm just going to draw a wall. 10 meter. So these are all the walls of a particular room or a plan or something. So you can see here, but you can see here all these lines are individual and all are in red color. So if I want to change the line type of this particular lines and all, you can see here there is a option here line weight and there's an option here line type. You can just click here. It is always saying by layer. If you want to change the line type, you can click here other. So if you want to load, these are usually used line types. If you want even more, you can go to the load, and there are immense line types you can use it. So for now, I'll be using dashed lines, and I'm clicking this. This is the sample of the line, and I'm clicking it. Okay, so this line will automatically come here. So I'm clicking it. Okay. So now if I draw a line, it will automatically be a dashed line. You can see here. It is automatically coming as a dashed line. But since the spacing is very big, so this line type should be within this particular limit. So just deleting this and just drawing. You can see here, but the dash is just only a single dash. But if you want to make the dash more prominent, all you have to do is just select it and right click it, and you can go to properties or quick properties. So I'm going to properties, and another tab will just get opened, and you can see here the line type scale. There's something called line type scale here. So it is 1. So what happens if I press 2? Even the scale of the particular line is increased. So what happens if I reduce it? You can see here, previously there was just 1 dash, now there are 2 dashes. What if I even more reduce it? You can see the dashes are even more prominent. So that's what, if you want to change the line type scale, you can just click it, right click it, and go to properties and change by what scale you want to desire, or if you want the line to be dashed or dotted, you can use this. So this is line type, and next to the line weight settings. So there are numerous line weights you can use it to differentiate different lines using 0.5. So if I now draw a line, it will be of a line weight of 0.5 mm. But you can notice that there is no line weight. If you encounter such a problem, you have to go to the line weight settings. You have to click it, line weight settings, and there is a checkbox here, display line weight. Display it. You can see here 0.5 mm. So the line weight of this particular line is 0.5. So let's say that I want all these wall lines to be 0.55. I cannot just keep on deleting and changing the line weights for each and every time. So there's a command called match properties. Match prop. I'm selecting this. So the work of this particular command is that it will match the exact properties of the source object you are defining. So this particular object is of continuous line and of 0.5 mm line weight. So I'm considering this as my source object, and I'm changing this. Automatically, everyone will change. You can see it. So if you want, you can also change this also, because the line type scale I have assigned before it is remaining the one as it is. So this is what match properties do. And if you want, if you want the line to be a continuous line, click it, right click it, go to properties. You can see a line type. You can click it continuous, and you can just close it. Automatically, it will become a continuous line. Now, if you match properties, everything will be as a continuous line. So that's what match properties do. So it's not only change the line weight or line type and all. This will exactly copy what and all, even the color. Let's see. Let me draw another example also. So you can see here this green dashed line with line weight 0.5. So this is a continuous line. You can see here. So quick properties. You can see the quick properties. It's a wall. It's the layer in which is the length and the line type. So if I want to match it, that's all. So that's what match properties do. They will just, the purpose of the command is that they will totally copy the source object's nature of the properties, complete properties. So match properties is done, and when you are working with layers, the most important or a great advantage is that you should always work with layers, because when you are drawing a particular plan. So you can see here there are, it's actually a PDF document. So you can see here there are furnitures and walls and doors and windows and all. So since it is a PDF document, it is directly showing what is it is exactly having. So let me similarly draw with this, with the usage of layers. So I'm drawing same as 3.7 meters. So I'm drawing a line, but you can see it is almost 40.5 meters. So since this drawing is big, just for you to refer, since it is huge, you can also reduce it by using the scale option. Select the drawing, scale it. Will ask for a base point. You can do it, and just reduce it. It will automatically get reduced. So now if you can draw, still almost a bigger one. So you can reduce it even more. This will be sufficient. So this is just a simple plan I'll be showing you guys. So I'm drawing a line of 3.7 meters. I type 3.7 and enter. So automatically it is waiting for me to give the next command. So here is a wall. So I'm using 0.23 meters and again 3.7 meters. And the wall thickness is 2.23. Using it. So I have drawn this particular wall. So you can see here this wall is kind of empty and not there's something within that. So there's a command called hatch, in which you can use different kind of hatching within the material. So I'm typing hatch. This H and enter. And when I type hatch, it is always asking me for an internal point. So these are all the hatch patterns in which I can hatch the particular object or diagram. So here it is solid. So I'm using solid. And if you want, you can also use the color in which you want to hatch it. I'm using it as white. And if I press enter, this particular object will get hatched. You can see here it is highlighted, fully colored. So that's what hatch will do. And if you want to use even more different kind of patterns, there are many patterns present in the default AutoCAD install software itself. So typical brick hatching, and I'm selecting this particular axis that you want to hatch, and I'm placing it, and I have hatched it. But you can see, but there is nothing present in it. Also, there is another important way or a rule. In order to hatch a particular object, it should always be closed. You cannot hatch an incomplete or an open object. See, let's try this one. So this is a closed object. I'm using hatch, and it's solid hatching. Use this. So you can see here it is hatched the particular object, but the line weight. Similarly, what we did for the line type of a particular object, the line type is very huge. So I'm teaching the particular hatch, and you can see here there's a number called 1 hatch pattern scale. If you reduce it, you will get it. You can see another line. So if you gradually reduce, so around 0.03, you can see. So this particular line is hatched or object is hatched. So similarly for here also. So you can see here this object is also hashed, but you can see only one particular hash visible here. So just select it. Again, this hatch dialog box will open. You can reduce it around 0.1, and still it is not good. So I'm reducing even more, 0. So you can see here the particular object is hatched. So this is how you hatch a particular object, and always make sure the object is fully or completely closed within completely closed object. So you cannot hatch an incomplete object. So this is an open object, and again I'm using hatch solid, and it is asking me for an internal point, and it is asking a closed boundary cannot be determined. So these are the lines, or these are the position in which the object is open. So if we want to hatch, the object should be closed. Now it can hatch. So please ensure that whenever you hatch an object, it is always closed in a closed loop. So that's how you do hatching. So layers, almost it. So let me draw just a quickly recap on all the tools we have looked so far. So we have looked at draw tools, the line, polyline, rectangle, polygon, and arc, spline, and all. For the modify tools, we have looked at move, copy, rotate, mirror, scale, fillet, trim, and all. And stretch is something you barely use it, but so what it does is it just increase the it will just increase the length randomly of particular object. This is what stretch does. You can either use the command and stretch it, or you can just hold one of the vertices and just drag them on whichever direction. This is what stretch does. And then this is a typical flow drawing, and if you want, we can draw it. I'm just quickly drawing the diagram. Just randomly drawing it. So this is to ensure that these are the basic tools, and just by using the basic tools itself, you can do even more stuff. Even more stuff that's you are capable of. So similarly, 0.23. So if you want, you can even explore even more many possibilities within this, and there are numerous commands present in this particular software. The most used and most sufficient is these are the commands. I'll just repeat all those lines and all. So line, polyline, rectangle, and line, polyline, rectangle. These are the basic draw tools and modify tools. And I have also set out the dimensions and times the style manager also, and how to hatch and working with layers also. And there is also an important point in which let me quickly draw it over. So just quickly drawing a door. This is a very simple way to draw a quick door. So you just draw the thickness of the door frame and you draw a circle around it. Then if you want, and then you just trim all the unwanted objects. So trim, I type trim twice the space. So this is a very quick door how to do a door, and similarly for walls. So you can see here that there are three colors here, almost like three layers visible here. And the most important and a great advantage is that you can turn off all these layers if you want. So for example, if there is a drawing in which I have numerous doors and different colors going on within a particular drawing, all I have to do is just click the drop-down menu and there's a pulse symbol on. If you click that, you turn the layer off, all the particular layered objects will just be disappear. Disappear in the sense it will not be visible. So similarly for all the layers, you can turn off a specific layer, you can turn on a specific layer. So that will be a great advantage when you work with very complex drawings. And so here you can also see that there's just a single layer here. But if you when you drop down, there are different there's a single layer, but with different line weights and line types going on in this particular drawing. So just again a sample, and just to copy and move it. Here, the this particular window or this particular document has a layer, wall, door, windows, and all, and hence if the object is present in this window, it will display its attributes. But whereas when you change or move it to the another document or drawing, it will use its default line weight and what essence it has got in the previous file. So you can see here there is no layer called door or windows here. So it will automatically adjust itself to the layer which is immediately open in. So that's what you can do in this wall door. And so if you want, you can also use the center lines like drawing by changing the line types and all. Line depending upon particular drawing or whatever line type you want, you can easily use them. You can draw a center, you can draw a dashed line, and if you want to change the particular line type scale, go to properties, line type scale, you can raise it. So you can see here. So that's how this dash line and all has been improved here. And also, finally, you can come to after drawing a particular drawing. The ultimate aim is to print or to display. So let's assume that this is my completed or final drawing, and in order to plot in a particular sheet or to convert it in a particular form, I use the plotter. So you have to press Control P, and you can see the plot model dialog box opening. So you can open this, and in certain systems or certain computers, there will not be these many plotter options. So if you have, it's well and good. So always use AutoCAD PDF, high quality print. So this will be I would suggest is to use this, and then what is the desired size of the sheet you want to print it. So let's say if I'm using it A1, and it's in the portrait form, and it is asking me what to plot, and there is an option called display here. So what does this display do is that what and all is displayed in the screen, it will plot everything inside the sheet. So let me give an preview about it. So this is how the sheet will look like. Let me draw even more objects, and it will fit everything into it. Then I'm plotting the sheet, AutoCAD high quality print, and now display preview. So you can see here everything is whatever is in the displayed screen, it will just plot everything. But if you want only this particular drawing which I have which you have done, so I will go to window, and it will ask me for the first corner. So I want only this particular drawing, so I'm clicking drawing a rectangle on this, just this. So automatically it will again reflect back here, and I'm going to click preview. You can see here only this particular drawing is highlighted, or whatever is in the window will just get plotted in the sheet. So you can see this is the plotted window, and if you want to change also, you can again click it. It won't be a big deal. So usually we will be asking the scale of the particular drawing. So in order to change the scale, or just for the sake of printing, if you want to print, you can just click the fit to paper option, and you can just print it. But if you want your drawing to be in a particular scale in a particular sheet, so I'll just uncheck this, and you can see here one by some numbers going on here. So usually the thumb rule of scaling a particular drawing is that if you want a drawing to be in 100 scale, it is just 100 by 1000. You have to divide it by 100 by 1000. So when I divide by 100 by 1000, and I'll be getting 0.1. So I have to type 0.1 units. And I'll be clicking it OK. And this won't be just keep continuing. Now preview. So in this A4 sheet, this particular drawing is 100 scale, in 1 in 100 scale. You can see here. So if I want to be in around 500 scale, or it's very even more smaller, you will have to divide it again by 500 by 1000, which is 0.5. So again you give 0.5 to this preview. So it is just become even more smaller. So that's what it denotes. So again I'm plotting it at A2, window again, only this particular sheet, area. I'm not clicking center the plot. So you can see the scale is very small. It's around 0.1, it's around 1:10 scale, I believe. So you can see the drawing within a neat and legible format. So depending on what desirable scale you want, you can change it by using these units. So the basic thumb rule is that if you want a drawing to be in 100 scale, just divide it by 100 by 1000. So 100 by 1000 is 0.1, 0.1. If you want to be in 500, 0.5. So the resultant should be the units you're willing to put here. So once I plot it, in a specific scale, centering the plot, changing the name to high quality print. It's an A4 and I'm previewing. So I'm fine with all these image and all. If you want, you can also zoom in by just scrolling in to see whether all these lines are visible or there's no any breakage or any other stuff. And then when everything is fine by you, you just click OK, and it will automatically save in the PDF form. So I'm just saving it in the desktop, and I'm just saving it. Hello.
Hello, Kevin. How to export this in black and white? Same
Black and white. So I think I will just complete this. So that particular PDF has been exported, and I'm just opening it. So it is just visibility. So now, if you want to export it in black and white, again the same process: Control V and high quality print, A4 window, again window, center the plot, and I'm just previewing. You can see all the colors here. But if you want in black and white, you can go to monochrome. Since that is a PDF format, that is not visible. So I'll just draw even more. Control P. Imported PDF, so that will just retain its own qualities. So that's not that's only it's not removing. So it's just window. So I'm just doing these. So that's all. See, you can see here it's monochrome. Since the color is here also, due to the plot style layout, it is automatically converting everything into black and white. That's all. If you take a none, you can see the colors also.
Okay, got it.
That's all. So that's how you plot, and that's how you do all those drawings. If you want a quick recap also, I can give. So there are draw tools, line, polyline, and etc. Modify tools as copy, move, trim, fillet, and mirror, and etc. And how to use the dimension tool and dimension layer, and how to hatch a particular object, and then how to add text, and finally the plotting. So if you just know these information which I said, this is more than enough to draw whatever kind of drawing is with it. So that's it.
Excuse me, sir.
So,
Excuse me, sir.
yes, please.
What is it about limits, sir?
When we are plotting, and that's right, the plotting. Yes.
No, I'm asking in the
Step
preparation of,
after the units we are setting.
yes. The preparation of workspace.
No, I am not able to understand. Please.
No, we are setting starting the units, right?
Yeah, yes.
Before the drawing.
Oh, for the drawing.
Yeah, preparation of the workspace.
Yeah, preparation. Yeah, I will do it again. So I'm just opening a new fresh tab. Units and length.
No, she is asking what is the purpose of limits, setting limits.
Setting limits are these limits are
By using limit commands, I think so.
Yes,
limit
sir.
command are.
Yes, sir.
Limits. So this.
I think to set the frame, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's the frame, because when you are doing even more complex drawings, since the workspace is infinite, sometimes you might lose your drawing. See, just an example. I have absolutely no idea where my drawing is. So if you if you set limits in a particular workspace, the drawing will just be within the particular limit. So even but that will not be able to there will be a restriction for you. So if you want to draft freely across any kind of medium, I would suggest just to go with Infinity workspace. So even though if you have lost it, just you have to double tap the middle mouse button. So automatically the drawing will appear wherever it is. So I think that will be even more easier rather than setting a particular limit. I am just drafting within this particular screen and all. And also I forgot to say something. There is called CAD blocks, in which you can there are numerous CAD blocks available online. You can just download it and just place. These are all CAD blocks. These are all CAD blocks, and there are numerous CAD blocks like furnitures of a particular place and trees and even doors, different types of doors. See, these are all CAD blocks. So depending upon what kind of furniture, and even people are also available in as CAD blocks. So you can also place the CAD blocks to make the drawing look even more, to make your drawing look even more neater, and it will be, the workload for you will be less rather than drawing a particular table and drawing a particular human. You can just download simply a CAD block. So let me show you some of my CAD blocks. So these are all available CAD blocks, basic CAD blocks. So let me open one of them. So these are all the CAD blocks, like the furnitures or the cars. There are immense CAD blocks available online. If you want, you can self-download, or we can itself. We will just share with you as materials if you want. If you guys want it. So, any more questions?
Sir, how to scale the blocks objects or something?
Yeah, CAD blocks. Yeah.
How to insert this?
Insert just. When you download the CAD block, it will automatically form DWG file. So the shortcut, I mean the file format will be always DWG. When you download a CAD block, it will itself automatically give you only the DWG files. So just I'm just opening this particular DWG file. It has these people in it. I'm just selecting one of them, right clicking it, clipboard, copy. So this particular man, he has copied himself, and I'm going to this particular area, and just I'm pressing Control V, paste, and he has pasted, but I don't know where is he. All you have to do is just zoom out, keep on searching for this man. See, he's here somewhere. Or you can just again, instead of zooming out or zooming in, you can again press the middle mouse button, and he will be visible here. So since he's very huge at all, better move him, and roughly you should know the the dimensions of your human shoulder. So, or you can just align him, just rotating him. I'm selecting him, scale, press it, and if you want, you can select the base point and go inwards. That will also be to reduce the size of him. But if you want to reduce the size to a specific value, you can click it and you can type some number 0.2. So he will reduce it into 0.2 times. So again, if I even more reduce him, it will be like this. So to reduce a particular CAD block or something, select it, scale him, and place a base point. You either zoom in to even more reduce the size, or zoom out to enlarge it. So this is very easy and very quick to do. So either zoom in or zoom out to control the size. But if that's a problem for you, you can even reduce the size by clicking it and typing 0.1. Just slow even. So moving him, placing it, and the drawing is even more. So just even more reducing it. So you should have a rough idea. So since just imagine this door is, let me measure this door. This is around 1.1 meters. So if the human should he should be able to walk through this door in a casual or free manner. So the scale doesn't matter that much. You can just to add a quality to the drawing, you can just place like this. So that's how you reduce the size. But you want accurate measurements, you can just measure him, draw a line like the width of a shoulder. So the width of a shoulder will be almost 50 or 6.5 meters, around 0.6 meters something. So all you have to do is just align him. So I'm clicking him, I'll align and assume this as his shoulder. So this will be my first point, and I'm clicking it here. This will be my second point of the shoulder. Just clicking it here, and I'm just entering. So even this time also you can. This is another way to scale. So it will ask scale object based on alignment points. If you give yes, he will accurately align himself to this particular line. So there will be no change in the dimensions. See, let's see again. I'm doing. It's so big, and the width of the shoulder is around 0.45 meters, 6 meters. Yes, so that's it. This is another way of scaling a particular cap block or whatever object you want to solve. Any more questions? Any more questions? Or is everyone clear? So I think that's it. And if you have any doubts, you have total freedom. You can whenever you can